people who cut off toxic family members. What was the final straw? I always thought family was supposed to be your safe harbor, the people who'd have your back no matter what. Growing up, I clung to that idea, even when it started to feel like a lie. My name's Mia. I'm 24, and for years, I tried to keep my family together. My mom, my older sister Lauren, and me, despite the cracks that kept widening. Mom was the queen of guilt trips, and Lauren, well, she was a master at twisting every situation to make herself the victim. I spent my life tiptoeing around their drama, hoping one day they'd see me as more than a fixer, a bank, or a punching bag. But last spring, something snapped, and I realized I couldn't keep carrying their weight. It wasn't one big moment that pushed me to cut them off. It was a slow burn, capped by a betrayal that broke my heart in a way I never saw coming. Mom and Lauren were a team, always had been. Mom was the emotional one, quick to cry or lecture about family loyalty whenever I dared to put myself first. Lauren, 28, was sharper, with a tongue that could cut glass and a knack for turning every argument back on you. Growing up, I was the peacekeeper, smoothing over their fights, covering Lauren's rent when she forgot to pay, or listening to Mom's hour-long rants about how hard her life was. Dad left when I was 5, and Mom never let me forget it was up to us to stick together. "Family's all we've got, Mia," she'd say, her voice heavy with expectation. I bought it, hook, line, and sinker, even when it meant putting my own dreams on hold. I'd always wanted to be an artist, not the starving kind, but someone who could make a living with a sketch pad and a vision. In high school, I spent hours in the art room, filling notebooks with drawings, landscapes, portraits, anything that felt alive. My favorite was a sketchbook Grandma gave me before she passed when I was 12. It was leather-bound, with thick, creamy pages, and she'd written inside the cover, "For Mia's dreams." I carried it everywhere, filling it with my best work, a piece of her I could still hold on to. Mom and Lauren thought it was a hobby, not a future. "Art doesn't pay bills," Mom would say, while Lauren rolled her eyes and called it cute. But I kept at it, working part-time at a coffee shop to save for art school, dreaming of a life where I could create without their voices in my head. By the time I was 24, I was close to my goal. I'd saved enough for a deposit on a small apartment and was applying to a community college with a killer art program. Things were tight though. Lauren was between jobs, again, and Mom's hours at the grocery store had been cut. I was still helping them out, dipping into my savings to cover their phone bills or buy groceries when Mom's fridge was empty. It wasn't just money, it was time, energy, everything. Lauren would call at 2 a.m., crying about some guy who ghosted her, and I'd stay up talking her down. Mom would guilt me into spending weekends cleaning her house because family helps family. I was exhausted, but I told myself it was temporary. They'd get back on their feet, and I'd finally have room to breathe. The trouble started in March, when Lauren showed up at my coffee shop job during a rush. I was juggling orders, the espresso machine hissing like a dragon, when she slid into a booth, looking polished in a new leather jacket I knew she couldn't afford. "Mia, we need to talk," she said, her voice all business. I wiped my hands on my apron, already dreading it. "Can it wait? I'm slammed," she sighed, like I was the one inconveniencing her. "It's important. Mom's behind on rent. She needs help, like yesterday." My stomach sank. Mom hadn't mentioned anything, but that wasn't new. She'd rather let things spiral than admit she was struggling. "How much?" I asked, bracing myself. Lauren leaned back, sipping a latte she hadn't paid for. $2,000, maybe 3. I nearly choked. 3,000? Lauren, I don't have that kind of cash lying around. She raised an eyebrow, like I was lying. "You've got your art school fund, don't you? Mom's gonna lose her place if you don't step up." I stared at her, my hands shaking. That fund was my lifeline. Years of scrimping and saying no to nights out or new clothes. But the thought of Mom getting evicted twisted my gut. "I'll see what I can do," I muttered, turning back to the counter. Lauren smiled, all sweetness now. "You're the best, Mia. We'll pay you back." I didn't believe her, but I nodded, already doing the math in my head. If I skipped the apartment deposit, I could cover half of Mom's rent, maybe more. Art school would have to wait, again.
Check the full story down here.